How's it going, everyone? And welcome to this week's video on Apex. We're just talking about the update, giving our thoughts. Everything in this, totally my opinion. Other people will obviously have different views on it. The new season starts tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it. Let me know what you think. If you like the video, like, subscribe, all that nonsense. And of course, something about the Twitch channel. I enjoy doing it. Every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday from 3 o'clock British time. You will need to do the figuring out of differences for yourself, I'm afraid. But, let's roll the intro, and you can listen to me prattle on about Apex. Let's go! We're talking about Apex. Apex Legends, Season 7, which is called Ascension. Now, Apex is actually a game that I really enjoy playing, and also hate playing at the same time. It's one of those. It's rage-inducing, but it's fun. We tend to play that on our PlayStation when we're not actually streaming. We've done it a few times on stream, but we kind of suck ass and it's not that fun to watch for people, I assume. So because I actually really enjoy this game, I kind of want to talk about what they're doing and my opinions on some of the changes. One of the things they're introducing, apart from the new map, which by the way looks quite impressive, I look forward to giving it a crack and seeing what they're doing with it, is they are introducing the Trident. Sounds fun. It's a car, basically. It's a floating car. That's what it is. Driver, and I think presumably space for two people. Drive around, go nuts, see what kind of shenanigans you can get up to in it. In the trailer, however, they've demonstrated that you can obviously put things on it. So, Jibby's dome shield, solid protection, or Rampart's minigun. You've got a Warthog from Halo. That's what you've got. You've got a car with a minigun on the top of it. You just empty into people, which should get around Rampart's or get around Sheila's inability to turn. But for that to work, you're very much reliant on your driver. So the driver's got to be decent. You have to have a decent wheelman for that minigun to work. But presumably, you could also do things like put Octane's jump pad on it, and then give yourself essentially a mortar. So as you're driving around, just take explosive, caustic barrels, whatever, and just bounce them off of this launch pad whilst you're driving. Hit a boost pad, go off into the sky, launch something off this bounce pad into a target. You can basically bombard people. If you've got enough explosives, just take your grenades and just bounce it off these things and just send it for miles. It's an interesting way that you could do it. Things like Loba's shop could be interesting. That you could essentially drive by, steal things. They're introducing a new thing called the Preview. Basically, it's a week where it's non-combat. You can drop in, see how the rings move, get used to that, find loot, see hotspots, but it's non-combat. You get 3 runs, then the match ends. And you can do that for a week. But getting to the exciting, juicy parts. The bits that you all really want to know. The really fine details that are like 0.1 of a damage that makes you go, this gun's shite now, isn't it? That's the part we're going to get to now. Oh, no, it's not quite. Well, there's updates in general. They're adjusting the replicator stuff. And to me, this is one of the best things that they're doing. They're getting rid of the weapons from the replicator. That shit was pointless. Absolutely pointless. I hated when, like, it was the gold barrel time coming up, that you couldn't get an alternator. Why would I be strapping a gold barrel to an alternator? It's going on the 301. It's going on the Hemlock. Don't even kid that I'm going to be putting on this gun. Get that out of my face. Give me what I actually want. So they're taking rid of that and they're bringing out shield batteries. So it now means that you can go to the replicator, you can buy bats, you can get meds. You're good. You're sorted. Like, just grab all those crafting materials, open all the bins, and you can make yourself attachments, bats, health, helmet, backpack, knockdowns. Like, fuck, you're sorted. You're good. You also can't steal your teammates' stuff. This one might not be particularly relevant. It is to me. The guy I play with likes to do it for fun. Apparently there's something hilarious about you using your crafting materials and then running past going, yoink. No. Give me it back. Do not make me push you off a cliff. You get a 5-second window in which no one can take your stuff unless you ping it, in which case it's disabled. They're going for something called airdrop clarity. I like this. I found this hilarious when I read this because this shit is not clear at all. So they're changing the beam effect. They want to change the colours because it's not overly clear just now as to what's what, basically. Normal drops are going to be a light tan colour. Lifeline drops are going to be blue, and replicators are going to be teal. So, they didn't decide to do the sensible thing of giving us a red beam for a lifeline, for a care package, given that's where you get care package weapons, which are red. Blue for a lifeline package, and then something like, I don't know, green for a replicator. No, they gave us tan that's going to be hard to see, and then 2 different variants on blue. Cool, that's a good colour choice right there. I'll roll with it. They're vaulting Kings Canyon for Olympia. Olympus? For Olympus and World's Edge. All the changes they made with the legend stuff. It's varying. I can roll with it. Bangalore alt. Bangalore's kind of not had too many changes. And I feel like she's kind of useless. This is me personally. Right? A lot of the stuff about the legends will be from my personal experience. Her smoke, they buffed that. They made it super thick. It's quite hard to see through. Your digital threats kind of get around it, and Bloodhound in general gets around it. So, yeah, I found she was kind of useless. Her ult is pretty good. It makes people scatter. You throw it, folk panic, and they run. Respawn have decided that we're going to increase the panic. When Bangalore drops her ult, you've got 8 seconds before that shit explodes. 6 is what they're changing it to. You've got 2 seconds less. When those missiles drop, you run. That's it. That should be a useful one, I think. Personally. And we're going to see a lot more Bangalore usage. I mean, Bangalore gets a lot of action as it is. That's a terrible term to use. Bangalore gets a lot of use. And that ult, you can use it to keep yourself covered as you run, or you can use it to attack and maybe break up a team. Now that they're increasing how much time it is, it's going to be used more offensively than defensively. You're not going to use it to cover your ass if the team's a little bit behind and you just want to slow them down. 6 seconds means it might blow up before they get there. But toss it in on the attack, that might work more. They're changing up Caustic. Caustic is obviously a chunky boy. His gas was quite good. One of the things that was really difficult when fighting against Caustic is you couldn't see shit. Your vision gets messed up. You can't see a damn thing. You're slowed down. Like, it was rough. They've changed that. They've removed that completely. Which is an interesting idea. It was what made it quite strong. You were taking a bit of damage, but you couldn't see, you couldn't move well. They've gotten rid of this. So there's no more blur effect. You're now just dealing with damage. They've increased the damage. Damage has been updated from 410 clicks of damage to 612 clicks. So Caustic could become an interesting one, I think. Mirage. Ooh, Mirage is broken. Mirage is broken with this update. Anyone who plays this, fully expect Mirages on your team and against them. When they changed Mirage for the start of Season 6, he was someone who needed to be adjusted. And they changed him in a big way. Alright? Making him invisible on the res. I love it. That combat res is fantastic. The actual respawn, same deal. Go invisible, it's great. His decoy and his invisibility didn't work. I mean, pre-update. You would puke out all these copies, and he would go stealthy. And the idea was that you could sneak up behind someone, but you could still see and hear the footsteps, and other things moved. So they changed it up. It can now replicate what he's doing. It actually bamboozles you. You actually get bamboozled. What they're doing now with this new season to make him broken, right? So what they've done now is they've given Mirages. They've given Mirages decoys health. It's not just one shot and it disappears. There's actual health to it now, which makes it harder to know what's being the bamboozle. So originally you could spray the decoys and they would all disappear, but one of them would actually be solid. One of them would take an actual hit. And you'd get that damage marker. You would know, this is the guy, shoot, I'm having him. But now you're not going to know that. You're going to have to take the time to hit this Mirage, then this Mirage, then this Mirage, until someone drops. They make it very clear, right? And I quote, We're giving them health, but to make this very clear up front, they will not work as a shield. While they take damage from bullets, the bullet also passes through them and hits whatever's behind them. So they're trickery. It's misdirection and illusion. It's not a solid object that you can just cower in a corner and deploy. Decoys will also play unique hit effects and briefly flicker out of existence. So you're going to know what's the decoy, but not immediately. You need to really be watching. And in the middle of a firefight, that might be kind of difficult. One of the ones that they were needing to do some work on is Octane. I really enjoy Octane. Octane was actually my main in Season 2. So Octane stopped working, and part of that is he doesn't do anything. Bangalore works as a team. Jibby works as a team. Lifeline, Mirage, all of them. They've all got this team basis, apart from Loba. She's useless. Ignore her. Octane was himself. Stem up, jump pads. You couldn't just clutch and play with the jump pad though, because there's an animation. You throw it down, it deploys, then you can go. By which point you're already getting shot, your teammates are already dead, whatever. It didn't work. What they've done to try and compensate a little bit is they've doubled up his healing passive. Okay. That's it. That's all I've got to say on Octane. Okay. I'm not convinced. I've kind of stopped using him. I only use him when it's a piss take. Watson. Lovely Watson. I hate her puns. But she's an okay character to play. Fences, they nerfed her ult at some point during this season, so that it wasn't just infinite. But what they're doing this season is you're getting a 50% increase on the damage of the fences. So rather than being 10 per hit, it's going to be 15 when they walk through it. That's substantial, I would say. And Loba. Wonderful Loba. Useless Loba. Who contributes nothing. Actually, that's just the end of that sentence. She contributes nothing. Her black market is a good idea, but didn't work. So what they're doing with this season is ammo doesn't count as an item. You can take guns, attachments, backpacks, whatever. All of that will count towards the 2 items. Ammo, take as much as you want. Hoard it. As I said, there might be people out there that like Loba. I don't. There's too much about Loba that doesn't work. The animation on the bracelet, how long it takes, the fact that it's super noticeable. You can see where it's going. You can hear where it's coming from. You are vulnerable when you use it and after you've finished. So you can't use it to aggressively push someone because everyone just turns around, points the gun at where it's about to land, and waits. And then it's like watching a firing squad. Her passive, unless you're that loot goblin that runs around going, precious, must have the shiny, and run after them, it's completely pointless. If that granted vision to the team, more so. Rampart, they're giving her some slight buffs. It's very, very slight. So her gun takes a couple of seconds to spin up. They're kind of half in that. And they're taking a second off that it takes to deploy the ramparts. The walls. She is Rampart. The amped walls. That's what they're going with that. Because they're obviously quite vulnerable, but they take a while to deploy. And one bullet makes them blow up. So we can drop the time on that. Only takes 3 seconds. Ta-da! You've got a wall. Now, this is one of the ones that I like. They are adjusting Pathfinder's hitbox. Because Pathfinder's a lanky metal boy who's super difficult to shoot. You can fire bullets and it goes through him. Or it hits just like dead space. I don't know what it is. So, as you can see here in this picture, previously, Pathfinder's hitbox was red, and now it's green. That's it. I don't see any differences at all in this hitbox. I just can't see it. He's maybe got a slightly wider region in which you can shoot him in the crotch. That's kind of what it looks like. Before his hitbox was red, now it's green. There's Pathfinder's change. They're also they're quite heavily nerfing his grappling hook. Now, I'm going to read what it actually says in the patch notes. Okay, this is word for word. Pathfinder no longer needs to be on the ground for the grappling hook to be considered finished. The speed to which Pathfinder needs to drop for us to consider the grappling hook finished was increased from 300 units per second to 500 units per second. So if you're zipping about, even before you hit the ground, it's considered complete. The maximum cooldown can be set was lowered to 30 seconds from 35. The maximum amount of time traveled before a new cooldown is set is now 5 seconds, rather than being uncapped. So it means that effectively you can never incur more than a 35-second cooldown on his grapple. And the amount of distance you can travel before you hit maximum cooldown has roughly doubled. Actually, that sounds more like a buff than a nerf. Yeah, actually sounds more like a buff. They've altered how you play him. Now, the reason that I'm just saying that, I can't make an opinion on Pathfinder because he's actually one of the legends I don't play. Ever. The guy that I play with always plays him. Because he's the more aggressive one. Recklessly, I should say. You know? Swings in like Tarzan and more pulls off George of the Jungle. He'll go flying in, screaming, and he'll land in a team of 2, 3, depending on what mode we're playing. We're still running because we have to take the stairs, and he's already dead, screaming for help, wondering why we're not there. So I can't make too much comment on it. He is someone that needed to be improved. But from watching some other YouTubers, people, the one that I watch for Apex mainly is Zilbrad, who is very big on Pathfinder, and he's made a lot of comment about how they kind of nerfed him into the ground. I'm assuming that what they've made changes may work for people. And the other changes that they made, the supply drop, pulled the R99 from the care package. That's coming back to us. You can now pick that up, and you can spray and pray at people. The exact same stuff pre-Season 6. So, 12 down to 11 damage per bullet, 20, 22, 24, 27, depending on what mag you've got on it. It's the Prowler that's going in. Prowler worked super well. 35 rounds, solid bullet damage, with not much recoil. And it was a pretty stable gun. It's like, never mind vertical recoil, the horizontal wasn't exactly there, and you're putting 35 rounds into someone. That's bigger than most mags. I think the only thing that actually exceeded it was all the LMGs, and they're getting rid of it. So select fire is also gone, because that's the only thing that used it. That and Havoc, but let's be honest, you're not taking the Havoc for that. You can switch between burst and full auto with the care package. I assume it's going to be a digital threat. That would be the go-to scope in the Prowler. You take the ability to switch, you'd have a purple mag, purple stock, and a digital threat. That's what you go for. So I'll assume that that's what that's going to be. Pulling the full kitted weapons. So no more Devotion, Mastiff, Triple Take, Flatline, or Volt. Instead, we are getting the Wingman, full mag, Skull Piercer. What scope? The scope is the most important thing. The scope is what makes the weapons. I assume it's going to be a digital threat. The guy I play with always uses the 1x. Doesn't take a digital threat for it. It's the 1x scope because he shoots better with it. I've seen people using 2x because they're crazy. Fully kitted Sentinel. Again, I think I use at most a 3x for that. It's either a 2 or a 3. So what are they putting on that? Previously, when it's been fully kitted sniper rifles, they've put the 410 digital threat. I don't feel like that works on the Sentinel. Me personally, as this entire video is. It's my thoughts on their updates. I don't think a 410 works. Fully kitted Havoc. Again, what's the site? I use a 1x. So are they going to go 2x? Which I know some people use. Or are they doing a 1-2 variable? And then there's crazy people that use 3x. G7, they've had that before. And the scope they used was the 2-4 ACOG. Interesting choice if you ask me, but we will see. I think I usually use a 2x on that. And an alternator. Again, that'll be digital threat. Has to be. Gold barrel, purple stock, purple mag, digital threat. That's peak level alternator. Though again, I know some people use 2x. But given this is an SMG, I'm going to assume digital threat is what they'll use. They're changing some of the weapons as well. This is where we get into the fun part. This is the bit that makes you go, ooh, we should use that weapon. Or, alright, so it's garbage now. Fling, Hemlock. They broke it. I didn't use the Hemlock pre-Season 6. It was an okay gun. I took it if it was there. But I would switch it out for things like the Flatline or the 301. Now I use either a Hemlock or 301. Because the 301 is solid. It never won't be. 28 rounds in the mag. It's stable. You put that barrel stabilizer on it, and that shit doesn't move. Hemlock, on the other hand, is dirty. It's a dirty, dirty gun. Alright? You burst someone in the head, they're down. That's it. Especially if there's other teammates firing at them. It's doing 44 damage per headshot. 3 shots. Their shields are gone. Even if you body shot them, it only takes like 2-3 bursts and a target's down. The gun can take 30 rounds and you can use 9 to drop a target. 12 if you're inaccurate like me. Who am I kidding? It's a lot more than that. But you don't need to use too many rounds to do it. And yeah, they did a lot of buffing and they need to adjust it. So they have. So now the horizontal recoil is increased. You go bang, it going right up and slightly to the right. Fair enough. But that's only the first burst. They're going to increase the recoil in the later stages of the pattern. But when you single fire it, there's not going to be as much. And they're reducing the headshot multiplier. So rather than it being double damage for a headshot, it's going to be 175. So like it was 44, it's going to be 39. That's still quite strong. I would still pick that up. And once you get used to that recoil, you're going to be fine. You're going to be laughing. They've updated the recoil pattern on the Havoc. So the Havoc is going up, right, left, up. They're adjusting the L-Star as well. I don't use that gun. But I've been melted substantially before by people who do. So, adjusted recoil, cooldown period is reduced, and the vent time is less. If you haven't overheated. If you've overheated, it's still the same. But prior to that, they've reduced it quite substantially. It's more than half. Now, one of the ones that's interesting is, presumably it works because of the gold gun as well, the Sentinel has a damage increase once you've charged it. It's not just against shields now. It's a straight up damage increase. So rather than doing 70, it's doing 88 damage. And this is one of the things that I'm excited for here, is the hop-ups. Now, the select fire is gone, because the Prowler is. They're introducing a new one, called the Quick Draw Holster hop-up. Now, these will attack the RE45 and the Wingman. Faster to raise and lower, quicker to ADS, and has a reduced hip fire spread. Now, being able to quick draw the Wingman and just hip fire into someone's chest, that's going to be quite strong. If you're accurate, you take the Skull Piercer. If you're a body shot, you take the Quick Draw. It fits into the different styles. The RE45, however, it's got like no spread. It's got no recoil. I love that gun. They buffed its damage. They buffed its ammo capacity, so you can get a good stabilizer. A 1x, I usually go digital threat if I find either of them, and a purple mag. Point it at someone and fire. The gun barely moves. You can melt people. And now you're going to give me something that reduces the spread of it in hip fire? Give me it. Give me it all day long. Let me use that damn thing. They are changing some of the armor, so the armor requires more damage. So they've doubled what you require to get level 1 armor when you're, naked. 25 increase for level 2, 50 increase for level 3, and it's a 250 increase to go from purple to red. So it's going to take 750 damage to get that red Evo shield. 750 damage from the start. I would say that's someone to be wary of, because it means they can at least hold their own. And one of the big changes they made as well is to the ring damage. So the ring damage is pretty much the same. It's been reduced, so it's not quite as intense. But the big change from it, ring 2, it's had reduced damage, so you have enough time to get a syringe off. I think you have to keep popping the syringes. I don't think you've ever got time to take like a med kit, but you should be able to stay alive. That's important. That's a good change, I think. That's the change they made. There's some bug fixes and some audio additions and things like that here and there, but it's not required. I wouldn't have said to talk about it. It makes no difference to me. But these are the major changes they're going for. So I look forward to seeing what we've got. Horizon looks interesting. I'll maybe do a video on her when I actually have a chance to play her. So yeah, that's my thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you care to have a discussion about it. See what kind of things you think. And yeah, we'll see you guys another time.